The galactic station Orbit 12 was one of the safest places in the galaxy. It floated peacefully between the stars, far away from wars and danger. Many alien species lived there: scientists, soldiers, merchants, and explorers. It was a place of knowledge, peace, and trade. But everything changed one day. Because of lunch. Lieutenant Grace Carter, a human officer, walked down corridor Delta 9 carrying a small steel container. Inside the box was her homemade food, chicken curry with extra spices, just like her grandmother used to make back on Earth. It had been weeks since she had eaten real Earth food. The station's food replicators made bland, tasteless meals for the safety of all species. No spice, no heat, no flavor, just gray cubes and nutrient paste. Today, Grace had had enough. She brought out the container and sat at her usual spot in the cafeteria, a corner booth with a view of the stars. Most aliens stayed far away from her during meals. Human food was strange to them. Some had said it smelled like fire and acid. Others said it gave them hallucinations. Grace didn't mind. It gave her peace. She peeled open the container. A strong wave of spicy steam filled the air. 30 feet away, Commander Zarnak of the Kulta race was reading a report on his datapad. His eyes twitched. His nostrils flared. He turned slowly. "What is that? Scent?" Zarnak asked aloud. He stood up, his blue skin starting to turn slightly purple, a sign of confusion or alarm in his species. The scent grew stronger. Other aliens in the cafeteria began coughing. One insectoid merchant dropped his tray and ran. A Glarn technician began wheezing. Zarnak stepped toward the source. The air shimmered around Grace's table. Grace took a bite. Finally," she whispered. But as she ate, the station's environmental sensors kicked in. Alarms started to beep. Warning: unidentified airborne particles detected. Chemical signature unstable. Initiating containment. Red lights blinked. The cafeteria's emergency seals locked into place. Massive doors slammed shut. Everyone was trapped inside. Zarnak stumbled. His eyes watered. His translator buzzed wildly. "Human, what weapon have you unleashed?" Grace looked up, confused. "Weapon? I'm just eating." Zarnak fell to one knee. He was a war veteran, survivor of 3 solar battles. But this scent, this invisible burning cloud, was overwhelming. "I can't breathe. It smells like acid and fury." Grace quickly closed the lid on her curry. "It's just food." The alarms grew louder. Biohazard detected. Level 4 contamination. Full lockdown in progress. Within minutes, medics in protective suits arrived. They rushed in with scanners and antitoxin gear. Dr. Seltra, a plaxibiologist with 6 arms and a dozen degrees, pointed at Grace's food container. "Don't move. Step away from the source." "I'm not the source. It's just lunch." The scanner beeped violently as it hovered over the curry. On the display, molecular structures flashed in red: capsaicin, turmeric, mustard oil, chili extract. The medics recoiled. Dr. Seltra gasped. "These chemicals, they're reactive, volatile, designed to burn. This is no food, it's a biochemical attack." Grace was stunned. "It's chicken curry." "Humans eat this all the time." One alien medic started retching in the corner. Another collapsed from the smell alone. Even though the container was sealed now, the scent lingered in the air like an invisible monster. Zarnak, recovering with an oxygen mask, pointed a shaking finger. "This is an act of war." Grace stood up, raising her hands. "I swear this is normal. This is human culture." Dr. Seltra turned to her, eyes wide. "Culture? This? These ingredients violate 5 galactic health codes. There's more heat in that box than a plasma torch." Zarnak coughed. "We have treaties for weapons, not for food." Within an hour, news spread across the station. Screens lit up with the headline, "Human Food Causes Biohazard lockdown. Galactic Council demands explanation. Ambassadors from 12 species called emergency meetings. Human cooking was now under investigation. Grace was taken in for questioning. Her food was sealed inside 10 layers of containment and stored in a vacuum chamber. Scientists from the Galactic Health Authority began running tests. The results were shocking. The curry sauce corroded standard. Keltari metal within hours. 1 drop of chili oil caused a iller plant to shrivel instantly. A synthetic tasting AI went offline after a sample. And yet, Grace had eaten it. And smiled. Council sent a message to Earth. Is this a warning or a mistake? Back in her quarters, Grace sat alone. Her stomach rumbled. They had taken her food away. The replicator offered her a tasteless nutrition bar. She sighed. Across the hall, 2 alien guards whispered to each other. She ate that willingly? She looked happy. Outside the station, ships from nearby systems paused. Some called for a full ban on human food. Others were curious. Some feared Earth had found a new way to dominate the galaxy through taste. Meanwhile, scientists began arguing. If humans can consume what we call poison... what else can their bodies handle? Is their food a form of self-immunization? How can they enjoy pain as flavor? By midnight, the Galactic Council officially announced, all human cooking is temporarily classified as biological hazard level 4. Distribution, preparation, and sharing of human meals is banned until further notice. Grace couldn't believe it. Banned? They banned curry? She looked out the window. A small cargo shuttle from Earth was approaching. It carried food supplies, Earth spices, dried peppers, jars of kimchi, sriracha packets. She knew it was only a matter of time before the chaos returned. But in her heart, Grace smiled, because she knew one thing for sure. They weren't afraid of the food. They were afraid of what it meant. Humans had evolved on a death world. Their food was proof. This wasn't a meal. This was the first taste of human dominance. The food was gone, but the fear remained. Grace Carter sat in an isolated chamber on the upper deck of the Galactic Station. Bright lights buzzed above her, and a thick glass wall separated her from the alien officials outside. She wasn't in prison, at least not officially, but it sure felt like it. Across the glass stood Commander Zarnak, still recovering from the earlier incident. He now wore a filtration mask and gloves, even though the room was cleaned and sealed. Beside him was Dr. Seltra, her 6 hands nervously tapping on a tablet. She doesn't look dangerous, Seltra whispered. Zarnak shook his head. She doesn't look like a walking bio threat either. But we can't risk another outbreak. Inside, Grace sat on the bed, arms crossed. She hadn't eaten since the incident. The replicator in her cell refused to process any human spice combinations. Every time she requested even a pinch of black pepper, it returned a denial code. Banned substance. She looked up as the intercom buzzed. A robotic voice echoed. Lieutenant Grace Carter, you are under temporary health quarantine for interspecies food contamination. Do you understand these terms? Grace sighed. It was curry, not a bomb. Outside. Zarnak flinched. Her tone is too calm. That's worrying. A moment later, the wall screen lit up. The Galactic Council's communication link activated. 12 alien faces appeared on the screen, each representing a major race in the galaxy. Some had tentacles. Others were insectoid. One looked like a floating jellyfish inside a golden orb. The Counselor of Law, a tall silvery being named Vartex, spoke first. Human Grace Carter, he said. Your food triggered a level 4 lockdown, injured 12 station personnel, and melted containment foil. Do you deny this? No, Grace replied. But none of that was intentional. The Counselor of Biology leaned forward. Her large black eyes blinked slowly. Was it meant to harm us? Grace shook her head. No, where I come from, curry is comfort food. It's something people eat when they miss home. I didn't know your species would react so strongly. Another council member, this one with bark-like skin, grunted. Then how do you explain? The readings? The substance registered as toxic, volatile, and addictive. Grace raised an eyebrow. Addictive? The counselor of trade spoke. 3 of our staff have since attempted to replicate the taste. One even tried licking the storage chamber walls. Zarnak cut in. One of our crew members actually fainted after sniffing a drop of hot sauce on a spoon. Another said it. Gave him visions of ancient stars. Your people eat this every day? Grace nodded. Pretty much. We love flavor. It's part of our history, our struggle. Earth is a hard place to survive. Spices helped preserve food. Later, they became a tradition. It's not meant to hurt anyone. It's meant to make life worth living. The room went quiet. The jellyfish-like counselor pulsed softly. If that is true, then human biology may be more dangerous than we assumed. You have immunity to what we consider weapons. You walk in clouds that suffocate us. Double quotes, Dr. Seltra turned to Zarnak. We must keep her isolated until we understand her food. We can't risk another event. Zarnak agreed. And all other humans must be restricted from using personal cooking devices. Back inside, the robot voice made the announcement. Human culinary tools are now considered Class B hazardous equipment. All humans aboard must surrender them. Immediately, Grace stood up. Wait, are you saying I can't even cook a meal now? A new voice entered the room. Captain Juno Vega, another human officer. She walked in through the decontamination chamber. She wore full protective gear, but her faceplate was lifted. Grace, she said, they're locking down everything Earth-related. No spices, no traditional food, no family recipes. Grace stared. But why? It's just food. Juno frowned, because they're afraid, not just of what it did, but what it means, which is that humans don't just survive danger. We eat it. Grace looked down at her hands. Then what do we do now? Juno smiled slightly. We wait, and we watch. They're going to study our food, try to understand it. Some might fear it, but others will want to taste it. Again, just then, an alien guard outside the chamber sniffed the air. His eyes widened. Is she still carrying residual particles of that ... spice? Dr. Seltra pulled out a handheld detector. It beeped. Her eyes narrowed. Even after cleaning, it's still in her system. Zarnak hissed. She's a walking spice bomb. Grace couldn't help but laugh. So what now? I'm a weapon just because I ate lunch? Seltra didn't smile. Until we're sure. Yes. Juno stepped closer to the glass. They're treating flavor like fire. But eventually, fire always spreads. And deep inside the galactic station, hidden from view, a janitor alien picked up a small leftover crumb from the floor near the cafeteria. He sniffed it. Then, cautiously, he tasted it. A moment later, his eyes widened. His tendrils curled. He whispered, "By the stars, what was that?" And just like that, the spice war had begun. The galactic research sector was known for one thing: answers. Inside Lab 97 on Deck Theta, some of the galaxy's top scientists had gathered to solve a strange, growing mystery. Why was human food so powerful? Could something made for eating truly act like a weapon? Dr. Seltra, now leading the investigation, stood beside a locked container. Inside were samples recovered from Grace Carter's lunch, the now famous curry incident. "Prepare the testing chamber," she ordered. The chamber was sealed, oxygen regulated, and lined with radiation shields normally used for plasma testing. Today, it was being used for food. Test subject number 1. Hot wing fragment. A small, red, spicy piece of chicken wing was placed inside the chamber. One alien volunteer, a reptilian Morkan named Keltar, was suited up and entered. Begin taste trial. Seltra announced. Keltar bit down. He froze. Then steam shot from his nostrils. His hands flailed. He dropped the food, fell to the floor, and began shouting, "The sun! I have eaten the sun!" Medics rushed in. His mouth was glowing slightly. Test subject number 2. Kimchi sample next. They tested a small spoon of fermented kimchi. The volunteer this time was a floating, sponge-like species named Orxil. He sniffed it once, then twice. Then, without being told, he ate the entire spoonful. For 5 seconds. Nothing happened. Then Orxil began spinning in midair, letting out strange laughter. "I can see the history of your planet." He fainted. Test subject number 3. Wasabi paste. This time, no volunteers stepped forward. Dr. Seltra had to activate a robotic tasting arm, one designed to simulate biochemical reactions. The robot placed the green paste on a synthetic tongue and relayed the data. Result: system overload. The robot shut down. The lab lights flickered. Seltra stared at the readings. This isn't food. It's sensory warfare. Outside the lab, word of the trials spread fast. Videos leaked showing volunteers screaming, hallucinating, or demanding more bites despite the pain. On message boards across alien space, rumors exploded. Human food opens your mind to new realities. It burns, but you come out stronger. It's addictive. I tried it once. I can't stop thinking about it. My cousin licked a human potato chip and started crying about his ancestors. Back on Earth, humans watching the news were confused. One man commented, "If they think curry is a weapon, wait till they find out about ghost pepper pizza." Meanwhile, Grace Carter remained in quarantine, but her meals had changed. Now, they were monitored experiments. Each dish she requested was scanned, studied, and sometimes denied. But a few were allowed under strict controls. One evening, she made a small bowl of garlic noodles. The smell leaked into the ventilation system across the station. An alien administrator paused mid-sentence, sniffed the air, and collapsed. System registered another minor biohazard alert. Zarnik called an emergency meeting. "This can't go on," he said. "Human food is triggering mass reactions. It's disrupting operations, and some of our crew are asking for more of it." Seltra agreed. "They say it hurts, but they like it. It's creating confusion. Some are addicted to the burn." Zarnak narrowed his eyes. "Then this is worse than poison. This is cultural invasion." In the dark corners of the station, whispers began. A black market alien dealer opened a secret kitchen. He called it the burn room. Only the brave entered. Inside, they tried samples of outlawed human snacks: Cheetos, pickles, Tabasco drops, dried ramen with chili powder. Cameras captured their faces: shock, horror, then bliss. One alien licked his fingers and whispered, "Is this what power tastes like?" The Galactic Council reconvened. They issued a stronger warning. Human cuisine may cause hallucinations, chemical reactions, and emotional disturbances in non-Earth species. All interstellar chefs are forbidden from replicating or serving human dishes until further notice. But they were too late. The galaxy had tasted humanity, and some of them wanted more. Dr. Seltra made one final note in her report: human food does not kill. It transforms. Back in her sealed quarters, Grace looked at her meal. A bland, approved paste. She didn't eat it. Instead, she pulled out a tiny hidden packet of crushed red pepper, one she had smuggled in her boot weeks ago. She opened it. The smell filled the air with heat. She smiled. The galaxy wasn't ready. But it was already too late. The Galactic Council chamber was packed. Representatives from dozens of species filled the Great Hall, their eyes fixed on the central podium where Grace Carter stood. She was no longer just a human officer. She was the face of a battle bigger Than any war a battle over culture, survival, and fear. The Council's emblem hung high above, a shining spiral galaxy with scales of justice. Counselor Vartex, the tall silvery judge from before, addressed the assembly. "Humans," he began, "your cooking has caused biohazard alarms, injured personnel, and thrown our station into chaos. We must ask, is this a weapon? A form of biological warfare disguised as food?" Grace swallowed hard but stood steady. "No," she said clearly. "Human food is part of our culture, not a weapon. Yes, it's strong. Yes, it affects others differently, but it is never meant to harm." A murmur ran through the crowd. Counselor Lyra, a bark-skinned alien with deep green eyes, stepped forward. "If not a weapon, then why do your spices cause pain, addiction, and hallucinations? Many believe your food is a form of attack." Grace looked at her. "Because humans have learned to live with danger. Our food comes from a planet full of challenges, extreme heat, poisonous plants, and dangerous bacteria. Our spices are proof of that. We don't just survive, we thrive in chaos." An insectoid council member clicked his mandibles loudly. "But does thriving justify putting others at risk? What if your culture causes deaths here?" Zarnek stood, clearing his throat. "As a soldier I have faced real weapons, but this is something different. It attacks the senses, the mind, the body. It's unpredictable." Grace raised a hand. "Then learn from us, don't fear it. Understanding human food means understanding humans." The trial grew heated. Videos played of aliens coughing, fainting, and hallucinating after tasting Earth dishes. Scientists debated, diplomats argued, and whispers of banning humanity from the Galactic Council grew louder. Then, unexpectedly, a young ambassador from the Vikar race, known for their tough survival skills, spoke. "I tasted their food," he said. "It burned, it challenged me, but I am stronger because of it. Perhaps this is not war... but evolution." The chamber fell silent. Grace felt hope that the verdict was postponed. The council ordered more research, but one thing was clear: human food had changed everything. Outside the chamber, crowds gathered. Some feared war. Others cheered for cultural exchange. Grace looked to the stars and whispered, "This is only the beginning." Deep inside the maintenance tunnels of the Galactic Station, a secret door slid open. Flickering lights led down to a room filled with alien smugglers, engineers, and curious traders. It was called the Burn Market. At the center stood a mysterious figure, a human named Kolviga, former military cook, now a galactic outlaw. On his table were containers marked classified. Inside, buffalo wings, jalapeno poppers, extra spicy ramen, dried mango with chili powder. The crowd stood around him in silence as he held up a toothpick. "First taste is free," he said, smiling. A brave alien stepped forward, a furry, four-eyed Varnik security officer. He took the bite. 5 seconds passed. He dropped to one knee, eyes wide, and then he said it. "I see the stars. I taste power." Gasps echoed through the room. Another alien stepped forward. Then another. And just like that, the ban cracked open. A growing obsession report started flooding in from all over the station. A medical officer was caught hiding hot sauce in her medical kit. A pilot fell asleep after eating Szechuan noodles and dreamed of flying through fire. A group of diplomats held a secret snack circle where they shared single chips from a forbidden bag of flamin' hot snacks. In every case, the response was the same: pain, shock, followed by addiction. One alien wrote anonymously on the net, "I cannot explain it. It hurts my throat. My stomach flips. My eyes leak, but I keep going back." The council's panic in a hidden chamber. Zarnek and Dr. Seltra stared at a map. Red dots lit up the screen, each marking a known human food incident. "It's spreading faster than we expected," Seltra said. Zarnek slammed his fist on the table. "This isn't just a spice problem. This is cultural contamination. But we can't stop it, she replied. Even our own researchers are asking for samples, Zarnak growled. We must do something drastic. The smuggler's mistake back in the burn market. Kol Vega made one mistake. He served death curry. It was his strongest dish. He warned them, this is not for beginners. One wrong bite and your insides will scream. Still, an elite Zarn warrior tried it. Within moments, the alien's skin turned blue. He collapsed, he twitched. He shook, everyone panicked. But then, he sat up, breathing fast and shouted, that was glorious. Others clapped. Some cried. The crowd begged for more. The galaxy realizes something bigger back in her cell. Grace received a message from Captain Juno Vega. They're not banning our food anymore. They're chasing it, Grace read on, stunned. Aliens are risking prison just to taste Earth's flavors. They don't fear the burn. They crave the human experience. She sat back, thinking. This wasn't about food anymore. It was about power the humankind, the power to adapt, to thrive in pain, to make danger into flavor, and make others want it too. The Galactic Science Council had seen enough. They had banned human food. They had declared it dangerous. But now, they needed to understand why. Why did human food react like a weapon? Why did aliens faint, scream, or hallucinate after just one bite? Why did some risk everything just to taste more? Deep study begins. Dr. Seltra stood inside Lab Omega 3, surrounded by glowing screens and holograms of human food molecules. We've tested the sauces, the spices, the peppers, she said, but now we must look deeper at the humans themselves. A full-body scan of Grace Carter was projected above the lab. Every cell, every organ, every immune response, Seltra's tentacle pointed to the results. They have layers of chemical resistance. Their tongues don't just taste. They fight. Their stomachs can handle acids. Their nerves read pain as pleasure. Zarnak leaned in. So, they evolved to survive their food? Seltra nodded. Not just survive it, use it. The Earth factor, the scientists pulled up planetary data on Earth. Hurricanes, volcanoes, bacteria covered everything. Toxins in plants and animals. Alien researcher, Orxel whispered. This isn't a paradise planet. It's a biological gauntlet. Seltra confirmed it. Humans evolved on a death world. Their ancestors had to fight for every meal. Plants defended themselves with poisons. Humans adapted. They built a taste for danger. She showed a chart. Chili gives signals danger, gives brain releases endorphins. Fermented foods gives bacteria, gives humans built strong gut defenses. Bitter leaves gives potential toxins, gives humans learn to moderate them. Zarnak stepped back, stunned. Their cuisine isn't madness, it's strategy. AI can't process it. Test further. A galactic AI called Testacori was used to simulate human eating. They fed it Earth recipes, spicy tacos, curry, wasabi, fermented pickles. The AI froze. It displayed a message. Flavor contradiction. Pleasure and pain equal system failure. The AI couldn't compute the logic behind human taste. Pleasure because of pain? Delight inside danger? Impossible for machine logic. Natural for humans. A dangerous evolutionary advantage. Ultra's final report shocked the council. Human cuisine is not chemical warfare. It is an evolutionary weapon. A cultural tool developed by a species that conquered their death world using fire, flavor, and fearlessness. Their taste is proof of resilience. Zarnak was silent. We feared their food because it burned, he said slowly. But what really scares us is that they like it. Meanwhile, on the streets, even with all the research, the truth couldn't be hidden. In marketplaces, spaceports, and back alley stalls, Earth food was rising like wildfire. Aliens lined up for microdoses of spice rub. Elite soldiers trained their bodies with increasing levels of heat, calling it the flame ritual. Entire alien families secretly cooked chili recipes while hiding from the law. They didn't care about pain anymore. They wanted to feel what humans feel. Grace Carter's new rollback in her private quarters. Grace received a message from the High Council. Your food is no longer classified as a weapon. It is now under Cultural Weapon Class E, still dangerous, but legally recognized. You are hereby appointed Galactic Culinary Advisor. Grace laughed. She stood up, walked to the tiny heating unit, and reheated a small container of curry. The smell filled the air again. No alarms, no lockdown, just heat. And history. She took a bite. Outside her door, alien soldiers sniffed the air. One whispered, "Should we report it?" The other replied, "No. Let her cook." By now, the galaxy knew the truth. Human food was not a weapon, it was a challenge. A test of willpower, biology, and evolution. And still, some aliens called it poison. Others called it art. So the Galactic Council made a bold decision. The announcement, a galaxy-wide broadcast, lit up every starship, station, and planet. To settle the controversy once and for all, we will hold a galactic cook-off. Earth's finest human dishes versus the galaxy's most respected alien cuisine. Judged live, watched by all. The event would be held in a neutral star system. The location, Nebula Dome 7, a shimmering glass arena floating near a purple gas giant. The rules were clear. 1 human chef, 1 alien grand chef. 3 judges, 1 human, 2 aliens. No protective gear allowed during tasting. Grace accepts. Grace Carter was chosen as humanity's chef. "I'm a pilot, not a chef," she said. Captain Juno replied, "Doesn't matter. You survived the lockdown. You are the symbol now." Grace nodded. "Then I'll cook what got us here." She packed curry powder, chili flakes, garlic, onions, dried peppers, and a small bottle of her grandmother's homemade hot sauce. The alien challenger, the alien competitor, was Chef Zalak of Ivor, famous for creating food that calmed nerves and extended life. His dishes were cool, smooth, and carefully balanced. He had once cooked a meal that made a general cry from happiness, but he had never eaten anything spicy. When asked how he felt about the challenge, Zalak simply said, "I cook to soothe. She cooks to ignite. We will see what the galaxy prefers." The cook-off begins. The arena was packed. Millions watched live. Security was tight. Medical teams stood by. Grace entered the kitchen. She turned on the flame and dropped onions into a hot pan. The sizzle echoed through the chamber. Zalak began carefully slicing moonfruit and blending chilled glacier milk. The judges watched closely. Within minutes, the air was filled with 2 battling aromas: cool sweetness and fiery spice. A blue-skinned judge began sweating. The iller judge twitched at the rising heat, and the human judge smiled. The tasting Zalak served first. His dish shimmered with glowing jellyfruit, served on frost petals. It calmed the body. The alien judges sighed in relaxation. Then came Grace. A steaming bowl of spicy noodles with crushed garlic, seared meat, and red oil that glistened like magma. Judge number 1 took a bite, then coughed, then shook. Then took another bite. Judge number 2 sniffed, hesitated, then tasted. His antenna curled. He shouted, "My ancestors are dancing." The audience gasped. Zalak looked shocked. The result, the final votes came in. Zalak, 1 vote. Grace, 2 votes. The crowd exploded in cheers. Alien viewers screamed, laughed, and even cried as they tried their own spicy samples from audience booths. Some fainted. Some swore never again. But many asked for more. A turning point that night. Social feeds exploded. Human food is not just flavor. It's fear and fire turned into beauty. Pain and pleasure in the same bite. No wonder. They survived Earth. They taste danger daily. Zalak shook Grace's hand. "You did not just win with food," he said. You shared your story, Grace nodded. That's all our food ever was. The galaxy was changed. What started as fear became fascination. What began as a ban turned into an awakening. And it all began with a bowl of curry. A new era begins. 3 cycles had passed since the Great Cookoff. Nebula Dome 7 had been transformed into a culinary embassy. Alien chefs now studied Earth's techniques not with fear, but with respect. The Galactic Council released a historic announcement. Human cuisine is no longer forbidden. It is recognized as a form of high cultural art, classified under extreme culinary traditions of Deathworld civilizations. Access will be supervised, but encouraged. Earth's reputation had shifted. No longer the strange world of chaos. Now it was the world of flavor, fire, and resilience. New jobs, new power. Humans were suddenly in demand. Spice adaptation consultants were hired to help alien species train their taste receptors. Earth chefs opened food stations in deep space cities. A popular holo-series called Burn Unit, Cooking with Humans, had over 300 million views. Even the galactic military began using human cooking in elite training. If you can eat what they eat, you can survive what they survive. Grace's legacy. Grace Carter, once locked in a containment cell, now stood on the stage of the Intergalactic Culinary Council. She wore a chef's robe, marked with the symbols of Earth, and held a small bottle of hot sauce in one hand. She looked out at the crowd, thousands of aliens, diplomats, explorers, and scientists. I didn't set out to make history, she said. I just wanted to eat something that reminded me of home. But I guess ... home tastes like fire. Laughter echoed across species. Then applause. Grace had become more than a symbol. She was a legend. The final taste. Later that night, Grace returned to her quarters. On her table was a message from Captain Juno Vega. Earth's first restaurant in orbit opens tomorrow. You ready? Grace replied. Already cooking. She opened a small wooden box. Inside were spice jars, hand-labeled, lovingly worn. She poured a bit of red powder into her pan. The scent rose like a memory. Behind her, a soft knock. She opened the door. An alien child stood there, nervous. I saw you on the holo. They say your food burns, but makes you stronger. Is that true? Grace smiled. Only one way to find out. She stepped aside. Come on in. You hungry?